Welcome back. This is where iptables stops being theory. Today we're going to spin up a throwaway VM, arm a rollback timer so we can't lock ourselves out, and then write our very first accept rule together. By the end of the lesson, this 8-word command on screen won't look like magic. You'll know exactly what every single token does and why it's there. Here's the shape of the lesson. 4 skills, in order, each one leaning on the one before it. First, we get you a disposable Ubuntu VM through multipass, so anything you break safely. Second, and this is the habit I want burned in, you schedule a flush command to run in 2 minutes every single time before you touch a rule that could cut your SSH session. Then we write that accept rule together, and finally we learn to read the firewall back with the verbose, numeric flags every sysadmin reaches for first. So, let's get you that playground. Multipass is Canonical's tool for spinning up real Ubuntu VMs in about 30 seconds. Free, cross-platform, no VirtualBox baggage. Install it with Brew, Snap, or the Windows installer, then launch FWLab with a gig of memory and shell into it. And keep those rescue commands on the right in your back pocket. Restart for a soft reboot, exec with iptables-F to flush from the host if you've locked yourself out, and delete plus purge when you just want to start clean. Now, before we touch a single rule, learn this habit. It's the most important one in the whole course. The pattern is 3 steps. Arm a timer that flushes every rule in 2 minutes, apply your risky rule, then either cancel the timer if you're still connected or wait it out if you've locked yourself out. So whenever your fingers reach for iptables-P-F or anything that changes default policy, stop. Arm the rollback first. Always, even when you're certain. With the safety net in place, let's meet the rule itself. This one line, sudo iptables-a input -pta tcp -d port 22-j accept is the smallest complete iptables rule you can write. 6 meaningful words, and each one answers a specific question. Who's allowed to run it? What tool, which chain, what protocol, what port, and what to do. Decode them once here, and every rule you read for the rest of your career suddenly makes sense. Let's zoom in on that last word, the verdict. Every rule ends with -j and a decision, and 3 of them cover almost everything you'll ever write. Accept lets the packet through to Nginx, SSH, whatever's listening. Drop makes it vanish silently. The sender just sits there until they time out, which is exactly what you want for hostile traffic. Reject also blocks it, but politely sends back an ICMP refusal, so a legitimate client knows immediately not to wait. Same block, very different user experience. Now, before that verdict ever fires, iptables has to actually reach your rule. And that depends on where it sits in the chain. The kernel walks rules top to bottom and stops at the first match, so position is everything. -A appends your rule to the bottom, meaning anything above it gets a chance to match first. -I inserts at the top by default, which is the nuclear option. Your rule wins no matter what came before. We'll dig deeper in Lesson 6. For now, just remember, A for append, I for insert. Let's zoom out for a second because the syntax matters less than the mindset behind it. 3 principles, and every one of them was paid for by somebody getting locked out. First, mistakes are inevitable. The only real question is how cheap you can make them, and that's exactly what the rollback timer buys you. Second, production is not a tutorial. Practice in a VM until the moves are reflexes, because real servers don't forgive improvisation. And third, read before you write. iptables-l-v-in shows you packet counts, the actual truth of which rules are matching traffic. Read often, write rarely, change deliberately. So here's your 1-page survival kit. Pause the video, screenshot it, print it, whatever works. The left column is the safety net we've been building. Arm the timer, list jobs, cancel, flush, reset policy, snapshot. The middle is the 4 verbs you'll use 90% of the time. Append, insert, delete, replace. And the right column is read only, always safe to run, even on production. When in doubt, stay in that right column. Now it's your turn. 3 drills, all inside your VM. Please, not on your laptop's real iptables. The first one walks you through the safe write workflow end to end. Arm the timer, add an accept for port 22, verify, cancel. 10 minutes. The second one is the one that surprises everyone. You'll feel the difference between drop and reject in your bones because one refuses you instantly and the other makes you wait. And the third teaches the lesson that bites every beginner. Position matters. Append puts a rule at the bottom, insert puts it on top. Reverse them, and SSH stops answering. Do all 3 in order today. Before you run those drills, take 30 seconds with this list. These are the 5 mistakes that have locked out thousands of people on day 1. Skipping the rollback timer because you'll be careful? You won't. Setting the default policy to drop before allowing SSH, that disconnects you instantly. Forgetting sudo. Confusing input, which is traffic arriving at the box, with output, which is traffic leaving it. And editing without reading first. Always list the chain before you append or insert, because order decides everything. And that's lesson 2. You've got a VM that forgives mistakes, a rollback timer that always has your back, 1 8-word rule you can now read like a sentence, and 3 verdicts, accept, drop, reject, that decide every packet's fate. Next up, tables, chains, and targets. The 3-dimensional matrix that makes iptables actually make sense. See you in lesson 3.